The massive starship hung in Earth's orbit like a silent predator, its metallic hull gleaming against the darkness of space. Captain J. Park stood motionless, watching the alien vessel through the station's reinforced observation window. His hand rested casually near the communication console, muscles tense beneath a calm exterior. Alarms began to pulse with a soft, rhythmic warning. The alien ship was sending its first transmission, a signal that would change humanity's understanding of its place in the universe forever. "Incoming communication," announced the station's computer in a neutral tone. Jay nodded to Su-jin, the young navigator who had been tracking the vessel's approach for the past 12 hours. Her fingers moved swiftly across the holographic interface, filtering and analyzing the incoming message. The alien communication crackled to life. A deep, resonant voice filled the command center, not human, but somehow translatable. "Inhabitants of planet Earth, we are the Galactic Confederation. Your civilization has been identified as a developing species." Su-jin's eyes narrowed. The translation wasn't just a simple conversion of language. It carried an underlying tone of condescension that made her skin crawl. "Preliminary scans indicate technological limitations," the alien voice continued. "Your planet is hereby claimed under Confederation Directive 7 Epsilon. Prepare for systematic resource extraction and cultural integration." In the command center, a tense silence followed. Jay's team exchanged glances, not of fear, but of something else. Determination. Curiosity. A spark of defiance that seemed to shimmer in the air. Hyun Kim, the station's tactical officer, leaned closer to the communication.
"Panel."
"They have no idea what they're dealing with," he muttered, just loud enough for Jay to hear. The alien transmission continued, listing a series of demands: surrender of planetary resources, compliance with Confederation protocols, complete submission to their technological and cultural superiority. Su-jin's fingers danced across her console. She was doing more than just listening. She was analyzing, breaking down the transmission's complex quantum encryption, searching for weaknesses. Outside the station's window, more alien vessels began to materialize. They were massive. Each one could easily dwarf entire human cities. Their design was angular, precise, showing centuries of advanced engineering that made human technology look primitive by comparison. But something about their approach seemed almost rehearsed, as if they had done this countless times before. Colonize, extract, move on. J. Park took a step forward. His movement was deliberate, calculated. "Prepare initial response protocols," he said quietly. Hyun Kim raised an eyebrow. "Which ones?" "Sir?" "All of them," Jay responded. The first wave of human response wasn't what the aliens expected. Not military strikes, not desperate negotiations, something altogether different. A series of complex data packets began transmitting from Earth's communication arrays. They weren't weapons. They weren't traditional defensive signals. They were something more subtle. Cultural information, mathematical proofs, fragments of human art, music, philosophical concepts. The alien vessels paused. Their computational systems, designed to categorize and process information with machine-like efficiency, suddenly found themselves confronted with something entirely unexpected. Complexity, randomness, pure human creativity that defied standard classification. In the command center, a hint of a smile crossed J. Park's face. The Galactic Confederation had made a fundamental mistake. They had looked at humanity and seen only what they expected to see: a young species, technologically limited, ripe for conquest. They were about to learn how wrong they were. As the first transmission completed, Su-jin looked up from her console. "Sir," she said, "they're trying to process our response." Jay nodded. "Good," he said simply. First contact had begun, and humanity was ready. The alien fleet expected a straightforward conquest. Instead, they found themselves trapped in a complex web of human ingenuity. Su-jin's fingers moved like lightning across the quantum communication array. She wasn't just defending, She was attacking. Each keystroke sent ripples through the alien network, introducing cascading system disruptions that seemed to defy traditional warfare logic. The first alien battleship suddenly went dark. Its massive energy systems flickered, then collapsed completely. No weapons fired, no dramatic explosion, just total system failure. Commander Hyun Kim watched the holographic display with calculated precision. The human strategy wasn't about destruction, it was about systematic neutralization. Every alien computational system became a potential vulnerability. "They're using our own communication networks against us," muttered the alien tactical commander, his scaled fingers frantically attempting system recoveries. Experimental human spacecraft danced between massive alien vessels. They weren't larger. They weren't more powerful. But they moved with an unpredictability that confused advanced alien tracking systems. A small drone, barely the size of a human motorcycle, weaved between kilometer-long alien battleships. Its quantum-encrypted transmission system carried more computational power than entire alien research stations. The aliens had encountered resistance before. Hundreds of civilizations had tried to fight back. But humanity was different. They didn't just resist. They reimagined the entire concept of resistance. Tactical algorithms developed in mere hours what alien civilizations had spent centuries creating. Human programmers worked in shifts, breaking down alien communication protocols, finding microscopic weaknesses, exploiting them with surgical precision. One alien battleship attempted a standard energy weapon discharge. Before the weapon could fully charge, human counter systems had already analyzed its quantum signature, developed a defensive algorithm, and neutralized the threat. "This is impossible," the alien admiral growled, watching multiple system failures cascade across his command screens. But for humans, the impossible was just another challenge waiting to be solved. Jay Park stood on the command station, his posture relaxed but his eyes intense. He wasn't just watching a battle. He was conducting an intricate dance of technological and psychological warfare. The humans weren't trying to destroy the alien fleet. They were demonstrating something far more powerful: adaptability. Each alien attempt to establish control was met with a response so creative, so unexpected, that their computational systems became overwhelmed. Humanity wasn't fighting with traditional weapons. They were fighting with imagination. Sujin introduced a series of complex mathematical sequences into the alien communication networks. These weren't just data packets. They were puzzles designed to consume computational resources, creating endless recursive loops that trapped alien systems. Within hours, the alien fleet found itself transformed from a conquering force to a collection of confused, paralyzed vessels. Hyun Kim's voice was calm. "They're learning that humanity isn't just another species to be conquered." The alien admiral watched in growing frustration as another battleship went offline. No weapon had touched it. No direct attack had been launched. It simply stopped functioning. Humanity was revealing a fundamental truth about technological warfare. True power wasn't about overwhelming force. It was about understanding, adapting, and reimagining the very nature of conflict. As solar systems watched silently, a small human team was rewriting the rules of galactic engagement, not through brute strength, but through something far more powerful: human creativity. The resistance had begun, and the aliens were beginning to understand they had made a serious mistake. The battle wasn't just about survival, it was about proving that humanity was something entirely unique in the universe. Species that didn't just adapt, a species that transformed everything it touched. Wu Li sat in a small, dimly lit room filled with complex communication systems. His fingers moved across holographic interfaces, creating transmission algorithms that would redefine interstellar communication. Humanity began broadcasting unique content directly into alien communication networks. Not traditional messages, something far more complex and disturbing: music, art, complex mathematical proofs, philosophical concepts that challenged fundamental alien understanding of consciousness and existence. The first transmission caused unexpected chaos across alien command structures. Entire alien computational systems became trapped in recursive loops of human creativity. They couldn't process the random, emotional complexity of human expression. Classical alien military training never prepared them for encountering a species that could transform communication into a weapon of psychological disruption. Sujin developed specialized transmission sequences that carried multiple layers of meaning. Each signal contained mathematical puzzles, emotional resonance, and cultural complexity that overwhelmed alien computational systems. "They're trying to understand us," J. Park observed, watching alien communication networks collapse under the weight of human creativity. The alien admiral watched in growing frustration. His advanced technological systems designed to analyze and categorize civilizations suddenly found themselves unable to classify humanity. Human transmissions carried something indefinable: emotion, creativity, and unpredictability that defied standard computational analysis. One transmission contained a complex musical composition, but it wasn't just music. Embedded within the sound waves were mathematical sequences, emotional patterns, and cultural information that created a multidimensional communication experience. Alien researchers discovered they couldn't simply listen to the music. They were forced to experience it, to feel it, to engage with it on multiple cognitive levels simultaneously. Another transmission introduced human philosophical concepts about freedom, individuality, and personal choice. These weren't simple statements. They were intricate thought experiments that challenged fundamental alien social structures. The Confederation's computational systems began to malfunction, not through direct technological attack, but through cognitive overload. Hyun Kim smiled. "We're not just fighting," he told Jay. "We're teaching them about humanity." Each transmission was a weapon, but not a weapon of destruction. A weapon of understanding. Human creativity became a form of psychological disruption that the aliens could never have anticipated. They were confronting a species that didn't just communicate. They transformed communication into an art form of psychological complexity. The alien fleet found itself increasingly fragmented. Their rigid hierarchical systems couldn't process the fluid, dynamic nature of human expression. Mathematical sequences embedded in artistic transmissions created cognitive challenges that systematic alien minds couldn't resolve. Each message was a puzzle, a challenge, an invitation to think beyond established computational frameworks. Wu Li introduced transmission sequences that carried emotional resonance, sounds, images, and mathematical patterns that triggered complex, psychological responses in alien computational systems. The aliens were experiencing something unprecedented. They weren't just receiving information. They were being forced to feel, to imagine, to question their own fundamental understanding of intelligence and consciousness. Humanity was demonstrating that true power wasn't about technological superiority. It was about the ability to adapt, to imagine, to transform complex challenges into opportunities for growth and understanding. The psychological warfare wasn't about defeating the aliens. It was about challenging them to expand their understanding of intelligence itself. As solar systems watched, humanity was rewriting the rules of interstellar communication, not through force, but through the most powerful weapon in existence: creativity. The aliens were learning a crucial lesson. Humanity wasn't just another species to be conquered. They were something entirely unique in the universe. A civilization that could transform communication into a revolutionary act of psychological transformation. The laboratory hummed with an electric intensity that felt almost alive. J. Park watched as human scientists worked with a fury of creativity that defied traditional scientific methodology. Alien technology lay scattered across workstations. Complex devices that had once seemed impossibly advanced now looked like primitive building blocks in human hands. Dr. Sujin held a captured alien quantum processor. Where other scientists might have approached it with caution, she saw something else: an opportunity, a puzzle waiting to be solved. "We're not just studying their technology," she muttered to herself. "We're reimagining it." Within weeks, human researchers began producing hybrid technologies that left alien scientists speechless. They weren't copying alien designs. They were transforming them completely. A small device no larger than a human hand could now do what entire alien research stations had taken decades to accomplish. Quantum communication systems were being rewritten, compressed, made more efficient in ways the aliens had never imagined possible. Hyun Kim's team developed a neural interface that could simultaneously translate and interpret multiple alien communication protocols. But it wasn't just a translation device, it was a complete communication revolution. The Alien Confederation watched in growing horror as human technological development accelerated at an impossible rate. What should have taken generations was happening in months. One breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A young researcher named Park Min-ho discovered a way to integrate alien quantum processing with human biological neural networks. The result was a computational system that was part machine, part living organism. They're evolving their technology, the alien admiral realized, not just developing it. Experimental spacecraft began appearing that defied all known principles of interstellar travel. They weren't larger or more powerful, they were smarter, more adaptable, capable of making split-second decisions that seemed to anticipate potential challenges before they occurred. J. Park's covert mission infiltrated the alien command structure. But this wasn't a traditional military operation. It was a systematic introduction of technological vulnerabilities that would take generations to fully understand. Each alien system became a potential point of transformation. Human researchers didn't just study alien technology, they reimagined its fundamental purpose. Communication networks that were once rigid and hierarchical became fluid and dynamic. Propulsion systems were completely redesigned. Energy production methods were transformed from the ground up. The aliens had approached humanity believing they were dealing with a primitive species. Instead, they found themselves facing a civilization that could turn their most advanced technologies into something entirely new. Wu Li developed quantum encryption methods that made alien communication systems look like children's toys. Complex mathematical sequences were embedded into every technological breakthrough, creating layers of protection that were both defensive and adaptive. "We're not just catching up," Sujin explained during a classified briefing. "We're leapfrogging entire technological generations." Alien research stations found themselves becoming obsolete. Human scientists were producing breakthroughs that challenged fundamental understanding of physics, communication, and technological development. The technological revolution wasn't just about creating new devices. It was about reimagining the very concept of technological progress. Where alien civilizations saw technology as a fixed system, humans saw it as a living, breathing entity capable of constant transformation. Experimental spacecraft began appearing that could adapt their molecular structure in real time. Defensive systems that could predict and neutralize threats before they fully formed. Communication networks that were more like living organisms than mechanical systems. The Confederation realized they were facing something unprecedented, a species that didn't just develop technology, a species that could fundamentally reimagine the very concept of technological progress. J. Park watched the holographic displays, a slight smile crossing his face. Humanity was doing more than resisting. They were rewriting the rules of technological engagement. The revolution had begun, and the universe would never be the same. Alien civilizations watched as humanity reshaped the galactic power structure through something far more powerful than military might. They introduced a new model of cooperation, innovation, and collective progress that challenged everything the Confederation understood about interstellar relationships. J. Park stood on the diplomatic platform, his presence calm but commanding. Behind him, holographic displays showed complex networks of potential collaborations, technological exchanges, and cultural bridges. "We're not here to conquer," he told the gathered alien representatives. "We're here to transform." The alien admiral, who had once sought to subjugate humanity, now sat in stunned silence. The human delegation wasn't presenting demands. They were offering possibilities. Su Jin had developed communication protocols that allowed multiple alien species to interact in ways they had never imagined. Complex translation systems that went beyond simple language. They translated cultural nuances, emotional contexts, and philosophical perspectives. Hyun Kim's technological innovations began appearing across multiple alien civilizations, not as imposed systems but as collaborative developments. Entire species found themselves benefiting from human-developed technologies that solved centuries-old challenges. The transformation wasn't about domination, it was about potential. Human researchers began working alongside alien scientific teams. Where previous interactions had been competitive, these became genuinely collaborative. Young researchers from different species shared knowledge, developed joint research projects, and created technologies that benefited entire galactic communities. A small research station near the Orion cluster became a symbol of this new approach. Scientists from 12 different species worked together, their differences becoming strengths rather than barriers. The Confederation's rigid hierarchical structure began to dissolve. Humanity introduced concepts of adaptive governance, flexible communication networks, and collaborative problem-solving that challenged traditional power structures. "They're not conquering," one alien diplomat observed. "They're inviting everyone to reimagine what's possible." Wu Li's communication systems allowed species that had been isolated for centuries to connect, share, and grow together. Cultural exchanges happened simultaneously with technological collaborations. Art, music, scientific knowledge began flowing across previously impenetrable boundaries. The human approach was fundamentally different. Where other civilizations saw limitations, humans saw opportunities. Where others saw differences, humans saw potential for collaboration. Experimental settlements began appearing that mixed multiple species, not through forced integration, but through genuine mutual interest. Education systems were redesigned. Economic models were transformed. Entire concepts of social organization were reimagined. J. Park understood something crucial. This wasn't about making other species like humans. It was about creating space for every species to develop its unique, potential alien technological systems that had been static for centuries suddenly found themselves evolving, not through conquest but through genuine collaborative innovation. The galactic transformation wasn't a single moment. It was a continuous process of mutual growth, understanding, and reimagining potential. Species that had been enemies for generations began finding common ground. Technological challenges that had seemed impossible were solved through collaborative approaches that emphasized creativity over competition. "Humanity isn't special because we're stronger," Sujin explained during a key diplomatic session. "We're special because we understand that true strength comes from collaboration." The alien admiral who had once planned to destroy Earth now sat as a collaborative partner. The rigid Confederation structure had been replaced by a more fluid, adaptive network of mutual understanding. Humanity had done something unprecedented. They had transformed the entire concept of galactic interaction, not through force, not through technology, but through a fundamental belief in possibility. As stars continued their silent dance across the universe, a new chapter of galactic history was being written, and at its center was a species that had been underestimated, misunderstood, but never truly comprehended. Humanity. The species that didn't just change the game. They rewrote the entire rulebook. The transformation was complete, and it was just the beginning.